I want to encourage us that we say yes to letting Holy Spirit renew, have access to that interior, to the spirit of our mind. And I'll give you an example of what this has kind of looked like. Some for me. I'm on the journey. I don't claim in any way, shape, fashion, or form to have arrived. But I'm saying yes. And I'm saying yes more than I'm saying no, hopefully. But one of the things that I've found, this is an interesting experience. I was trying to make this, give you some rungs on the handle so you could kind of see this potentially in your life. I said yes to Holy Spirit in terms of helping and renewing in the spirit of my mind as it relates to a pickleball experience. You're like, oh my gosh, you and your pickleball stuff. It's true. Between pickleball and basketball, you think that's all I do in my life. Close. At least right now, basketball would be true. However, in relation to pickleball, I found this interesting experience, and I think it will be helpful for you to see this. There have been some occasions when I'm playing pickleball, and I'll make a bad shot, right? It's not what I wanted to do, and it went, out of bounds. They got a point or whatever. It was a bad shot. And sometimes if I'm not careful, I make a bad shot, and then I get upset with myself, not happy. And then there's another shot. And guess what? It compounds. And pretty soon, one bad shot leads to another. One thing leads to another. Anyways, so I found myself in this downward, 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 downward. And anybody ever have this experience where something went bad and then you start to go worse and worse and worse? And my whoever I'm playing with, I feel sorry for them because now the other team knows, pick on her because she's all up in her head. She's messed up and we can beat her just because of her own mental game. And it's been interesting to me because there was one point where I felt like Holy Spirit arrested me in this and said, stop. And I'm like, stop what? Stop. And I turned and took a break for just, because you don't have long, 5 seconds maybe. And I took a deep breath, took another deep breath. And you do realize that the Hebrew word for breath is spirit. And you do realize, Genesis 2 verse 7, God breathed into man, and man became a living being. There is much to be said for taking a pause. Close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. Because if I don't do that sometimes, that spiral is just a bad ending waiting to happen. But when I pause and I say, okay, Holy Spirit, breathe. And remember John 20, verse 22, Jesus breathed on them and said, receive Holy Spirit. And I want to encourage you that when I do this, I've had this internal reset. And then I've had the experience where I come back and I start to play and I get better. My shots stop going out. My mind gets better. I start to engage better. I start to play up to my ability and not in that downward spiral.